Welcome back to another episode of Expats in Ukraine. I'm Corey, and today I have a very special guest. His name is Noah Sims. He also goes by Mountain Man Sims. He claims to be the American that has fed the most Ukrainians. He's a humanitarian. He's a chef. You may recognize him from season 10's season 10 of MasterChef. Here he is, Noah. What's up, man?
How's it going, brother, man? Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for your staff, top notch.
I will tell you. Why don't you introduce yourself a bit? So, let people get to know you a bit better, man.
Okay, my name is Noah Sims. I am from Epworth, Georgia, population less than 500, north of Atlanta, about 100 miles. I've been in the culinary field. First culinary job was when I was 15, working for the Katana Glues at the Fannin Inn. Went to culinary school 2010 while I was taking care of my grandma. Got immersed into the culinary scene in Athens, Georgia, which if you've not ever gone to Athens, Georgia, you're really missing out. Really incredible town. And I just kind of kept going until I got on MasterChef. And when I got on MasterChef, kind of everything changed because I was able to get an absurd amount of connections of really, really important, awesome people. And I met a guy named Jamie that told me that he did disaster relief work and that every time one disaster happens, people will not show up that say that they'll show up. And I was like, well, man, I'm a man of my word. I would love to do that. Well, that was in February. September happened, and Dorian completely leveled Hopetown, the Bahamas. It was just
Dorian is a hurricane, right?
Dorian is a hurricane, completely leveled the Hopetown. Jamie called me, and I flew down to Hopetown. One of the wildest experiences of my life ever. Like, just you can't even explain. Like, after a hurricane levels, you have so many things that you're combating. You have the amount of sorrow, and I'm an empath energy bender, so like feeling the pain and the sorrow and all this. It gives me energy and gives me motivation to be able to go cook from 4 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock at night every single day for a month. Like, it showed me kind of what food could really do, the power of food. I was and still am a disciple of Jose Andres in culinary school. He was one of the two people I wrote my reports on, and he was down in Marsh Harbor during this terrible tragedy.
And Marsh Harbor's in
Harbor's in the Bahamas.
In Bahamas, okay.
And he was flying helicopters, Chinooks all over stuff, dropping food everywhere. And when they came there and was starting to bring me food, so I wasn't just a one-man show cooking for this island, it really showed me kind of trusting the process. The people I met one of the coolest people ever, Josh Phelps, a solid individual, became great friends with him. And whenever there was time to move any type of local, I tried to help as many people as possible with food, always cooking with food. So naturally, how we got to me being here is when the war broke out, immediately, it took me about 10, 15 seconds to figure out that I needed to go over. I didn't know if I needed to go to Poland, Romania, wherever I needed to go, but I know I needed to take my God-given skill and God-given ability to try to help lift up people with delicious, big, bold, beautiful flavors.
Oh, nice, man. So, speaking of like Ukrainian food, I know there's a big difference between American food and Ukrainian food, and you're a culinary expert. What's your opinion
I don't know
on
about
this, man?
culinary expert, but I know I can tell you if it's pretty dang gum tasty and pretty balanced. But Ukrainian food is delicious. One of the things that I've been doing, we bought 4 food trucks, Help NGO, and drove them all over this region, all over the Kyiv region, Irpin, Bucha, and all this, and was cooking Ukrainsky borch, miasa, which is slow cooking, like 16-hour slow cooked beef, because beef's kind of expensive here, so I was always serving beef, smetana, fresh dill. I would put it might sound like a jerk thing, but it's like I'd put this borscht against about anyone's borscht. I've cooked literal tens of thousands of liters of this borscht, but like banush, which is it's like porridge. It's kind of like grits for us. So as a Southerner, having that they do cracklings and stuff. They do sour cream cheese, cracklings, sometimes pickles. We of course in the South, cream, cheese, pickled jalapenos, bacon. So having that holubski,
the cabbage rolls.
Cabbage rolls. Yeah. Dude, I could eat those like a wood chipper. Like I could just yomp those. Like I need a crumb catcher on my side. Like I love how Ukrainian cuisine, Slavic cuisine loves smetana. I love sour cream. Like a baked potato is about 50%
sour cream on everything, man.
Yeah, sour cream, 50-50 on a baked potato. They're like, yeah, that's about right. Like perfect, So I love the care that they have for their food. Ukrainians, I'm a Southerner, so like there's so many similarities to Southern cooking and Ukrainian cooking. You see the love, the passion. It's not let's plate this really egotistical and pretentious. It's like, this is delicious. Put it on my plate so I can eat it. That is delicious. Can I just eat it with my hands? Like,
Yeah.
I love the passion that Ukrainians have for food. I think the only fault that I find in Ukrainian cooking that really is a big difference, and its fault is like salt. I think sometimes Ukrainians do not like super salty things, even though they like really pickly salty things. But like on a dish, I find sometimes they don't like, if they just put a little bit more salt on it, everything's totally copacetic.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not a culinary expert, but when it comes to Ukrainian food, I love it. It's delicious. It could be healthy. But there's not enough spices for me. I grew up in Southern California, and so we have like a lot of Mexican influence.
Yes.
And I love Mexican food. I love spicy. But in Ukraine, I feel like everything is like a bit bland. Do you feel the same?
That is a very accurate. That's why I'm saying with the salt, you can push the salt. What composes a perfect bite for me, always having a little bit of capsaicin in something, being able to have the sweet, the sour, the salty, the sugar, and have that balance. So I thought about that, and I was like, well, borscht. I'm like, what if I did a pickled jalapeno borscht?
Whoa.
I was like, because if I had that heat to carry the sweet, the salty, the creaminess of the smetana, it's like they're either gonna freaking go haywire over this, or they're gonna just be like
Revolution.
yeah, or they're just gonna push it to the side. So I did that, and I had a 60-liter pot, and normally I would cycle through 60 liters when I have a line. I'd cycle through it in about 17 minutes.
Wow.
This was 10 minutes. Like, people were like, as soon as they tasted, they would stop and be like more. So I started doing a little bit of spice here and there, and I think it's an ignorance thing. Like, it's not an ignorance like a bad thing. It's like, I don't think that they have been shown like proper spice. My mother's Texan, a proud Texan. So like, I was eating jalapenos at 4 or 5. Like, I love heat because I believe that good heat in dishes really rounds out the dishes. That's why I think like Georgian food is like my favorite food. Like,
I love Georgian. Are you talking about Georgian South or Georgian country?
Country Georgian.
Oh, I love Georgian food. Yeah.
Country Georgian.
Yeah.
I bet you did, because you're like, I'm from Los Angeles. It's like a Mexican influence. It's like Georgian food, for people that don't know, like Tbilisi style cooking. Imagine Ukrainian food, Polish food, and Turkey had a baby. That's what Georgian food would be, because you get the spices, the roundness from like Turkey in the heat, with all of the different types of aromatics, with all of the fats and the smetana. It's just Georgian food. In Lviv, and in Kyiv, two of the best places to get Georgian food. Top tier Georgian food.
And they're everywhere too, man.
Everywhere.
Georgian food is so popular here.
Because that's what I'm saying, though, on like the ignorance thing. It's like, people are like, oh, Ukrainians don't spice. Like, what if I tried this? Because I thought the Georgian, that's like why I thought this is like, why are there so many Georgian restaurants? There's only Ukrainians eating in here. So it's like, they have to like spice. I think it's like, I've never tried this spice. I never had my tongue open up with the capsaicin. Yeah. So I think that's like I said, I think that's why there's so many Georgian restaurants, is people, and they're getting more and more and more. Like Lviv, last time I was here a year ago, now there's 3 more new Georgian restaurants there. It's like, so people are starting to really see like, oh, we can have spice and salt and sugar and heat and sour. It's just top tier.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you, I know we're talking a lot about food, so let's kind of keep it going. What is your favorite Ukrainian dish? I know we talked a lot about borscht. Is it borscht?
Holubski or
but
borscht.
Golubski, is that considered like Polish, or is it Ukrainian?
No, that's Ukrainian. They cook it in Poland, and I think they spell it different too. I think Ukrainians is HOL. I'm not even going to try that on a podcast. I'm like, not going to do that. I am a hooked on phonics failure. Definitely Slavic Cyrillic words. I don't think like having world-class borscht, I think it's an aphrodisiac. I think my borscht is an aphrodisiac. Like, I see people
Have people told you this?
I have seen people get like emotional. You saw people getting handsy, like old people getting like, I swear to God, as God is my witness, man. Like, dude, it's because, dude, the how healthy it is, and like your body is just rejoicing. Like when you're in a primal mode, it's like if you eat really good, then it's like mate sleep. It's like when you eat this borscht, it's like, well, we've done a good hunt today because we've got everything our body needs. It's like mate sleep. Like your body, like when you eat this borscht that I make, shit gets lit. Like you really just open up. Like it just makes you feel better. Like you get happy. And that's why I was like, oh, we could try cooking this. I was like, but this borscht, like we're out every day. Like I cook until we are out. Like we prep mise en place the day before. I have a world-class team next day. And then we're serving literal, you know, sometimes we're serving 6 to 8 giant pots of borscht in a day. So I'd say the borscht, man. It's
I know you're getting me
good.
so hungry, man. And after like this podcast, I want to set up a day where you can make some borscht. I want to.
I will make it for your whole crew. I'll make it for your whole crew.
Yeah,
100%. I swear to God, like it's one of the like people are like, what's your favorite Ukrainian dish? Like, I'll be honest with you, like it's not just Ukrainian dish. Like this borscht is so dadgum good. It means so much to me, and the amount of passion that I've put into this freaking borscht, it's just. Of course, it's an aphrodisiac. You got this freaking just I'm slinging that energy into that pot. So yeah, borscht is unbeatable, man.
Yeah. And how about like street food in Ukraine? Have you tried this, like shawarma?
You literally maybe laugh. Like street food that's not really Ukrainian. Yes,
But street food in Ukraine, not street Ukrainian food.
Yes, I've had both. The best. You can get some really good kebabs. Really good kebabs here. But a couple. I swear this is hilarious. The epicenters. Okay.
Yeah. Epicenter.
The
like
epicenter. The hardware store.
Home Depot kind of store. Yeah.
The epicenter. I'm going to get this is for everybody in Kiev. I'm telling you a secret that these little what is not a babushka, but what is a Ukrainian babushka? A
babusia.
Babusa. You got a hardware store full of babusas making Veronikis that are the best Veroniki I've ever had in my life. I would go to this hardware store because I'd have to get all the supplies, my woods in Kiev.
Kiev.
The best Veronikis I've ever had in my life. I went to that hardware store so many times because it had everything. It had all of my supplies for everything, fuel, literally everything. It's the greatest store ever. And then I would go down there and spend pretty much it's like free, like 100 zlotki, 120 zlotki for 6 Veronikis in this like clay pot. And I'm like, I'm in a hardware store. Like it doesn't make sense. But they're like, oh, you know, this is like, you know, quick, easy. I'm like, oh, so it's like kind of like a little quick and go street food pop. Like, yeah. It's like, no. And like, I would eat these things. And one of my favorite foods I've ever
potato,
had.
Right?
Potato.
Okay.
Well, you have some of them have potato with cottage cheese. Sometimes they'll have meat stuffing.
Yeah.
Where
I like the meat.
one time they had an onion potato veal stuffed, and I was like flavor bomb. Yeah. And then they slather it with smetana and fried onions, and I'm like, sweet baby Jesus, give me a trough of these things. And it's in a hardware store. I'm like, I'm in an Ace Hardware Home Depot shop eating, and it's like I would put them against anybody's Veronikis. And they got these old ladies just making them in the back. You can see them make them. Top notch.
Yeah, nice, man. Nice. No, it's so funny talking to you, man. I love it, especially like your pronunciation of like Ukrainian words.
I butcher everything.
No, it's fine. I love it, man. It's very endearing. But I know you were saying, so you're living in Lviv, right?
I'm living in Lviv right now.
And right now, I remember when I was in Lviv last time, it was very popular. This type of borscht. It was green borscht.
Yes.
Have you tried green borscht before?
Yes, we made green borscht. It's made with a thing called sorrel. All right.
Like
so
shovel.
it's this green herb or whatever.
Yeah.
First time I ever had green borscht was made by this rock star Ukrainian chef Polina, who was WCK in Shemesh or whatever.
Okay.
And she's like, we have to find sorrel. We cannot do it without this. And like I'm giving her a jar of like minced sorrel, and she's looking at me and my ancestors like through my skull, like this is not going to work. And she's like, no, this is not going to work. It's like, okay. So then we're like going to the market to find this thing I've never found. And you try it, and it's got eggs, and it's delicious. Very, very good soup.
No, I love green borscht. It has kind of like the sour kind of taste.
100%.
Yeah,
This
like
was sour. That's what's from the sorrel. It's and I like sour stuff. Like I love sour rye soup. They do that in Poland a lot. The sour rye soup at Sudovianki, which is one of my favorite restaurants. They do a sour rye soup there that is, again, give me a Jethro Bodine sized bowl and a ladle and watch daddy work. Like let's do it.
Yeah. So, I want to ask you, so since we're talking about like Lviv, I know you're spending a lot of time there. This is where you chose to kind of, I guess, set up base. So why Lviv? I know we're filming in Kyiv, but yeah, and you visit Kyiv every once in a while, but why Lviv?
I'm there because the most powerful human being that I have ever met, Rachel Ray.
Rachel Ray, okay.
Rachel
the
Ray,
chef, celebrity chef,
yes,
right?
She is one of my dear friends, the most powerful human being I've ever met in my life. Unstoppable, like inspiring beyond you can.
Well, I'll tell you like a quick story. I'm sorry.
Hit me with it.
My grandpa, he used to watch these cooking shows, and he used to say like, "Oh, I really like this Rachel Ray girl," but he was mispronouncing Rachel. So I would think like when I was young, I would like this Rachel Ray, like is she like a racist cook or something? And so then after a while, I'm like, oh, he means Rachel.
Rachel Ray.
Yeah, this is why I always remember him. I always remember my grandpa, that Rachel Ray girl.
I love that Rachel. I'm gonna tell her that. I hope she watches podcast, and Rachel will watch this podcast.
Rachel Ray.
Rachel.
Oh,
that
man.
Rachel
Slur
Ray.
Yeah.
Well, my mom. I mean, as a kid, watching Rachel. My mom still talk about it. Like when she was talking to my mom when I was in Tuscany with Rachel, and like video calling and talking to my mom, and she says like, I still cook the way you did. Taught me how to cook roasted broccoli. My mom is one of the best cooks I've ever met. Like no recipe, like wing it. Like her palate is so good that she understands the balance of everything.
Yeah.
And Rachel Ray has done more for Ukrainians than any other American, and no one really knows it. We're talking millions of dollars here poured into Ukraine. The orphanage in Lviv, she completely rebuilt, completely brand new equipment.
I've never heard of this. It's crazy.
Well, that's why you told me not to tell you everything. So I'm like, I told you we have.
Why did you tell me backstage?
We have gravy, baby. We have a gravy train of badass things that Rachel Ray has done. Like you're not going to meet anyone that talk higher about Rachel Ray than me. So she goes into this orphanage, flips a switch, power grids blows. What does she do? She rebuilds the whole block's power grid. She spends her money like $150,000, rebuilds the whole thing. So when she comes in there to flip the lights on for the whole brand new kitchen that she just built out for this orphanage, for all these kids that have lost both their parents in the war, they have nothing. And here's Rachel Ray giving them a complete vessel of opportunity to learn how to cook.
Yeah.
She comes over here. She's been over here like 5 times. She got all of these IFAX kits. Or that's what I just lost my mind. IFAX. Yeah. The medical bags, all of them. So like field dressing, tourniquets, all that. She got a whole organization started with that. Then she's been working with Unbroken, which is the first medical union, a hospital in Lviv, St. Panteluma hospital.
Okay.
And Unbroken, they've treated like 16,000 different patients, 2,300 children since the war started. Wow. Prosthetics. They're making a one-stop shop. The staff there is world class. But Rachel, I told her, I was like, we need to get boots on the ground to make sure that everything is coming, because she's coming here. I'm not going to give the dates or stuff, but she's coming here. And we have these massive paella pans, these 7.5 foot pans made in Valencia, Spain, custom made, that we use at World Central Kitchen. She bought 2 of those, the whole sets. We're going to get them shipped over there, and then we're doing a giant cook, because what we're doing is we're rebuilding this whole kitchen at this hospital system to produce 12,000 meals a day. So Rachel's coming here. She's cooking for the troops. She's bringing morale. She's bringing her spirit. She's bringing her whole, like, you just, like when you ask me about Gordon Ramsay, like when you walk around a true powerhouse, you can just feel.
Oh, I was talking to you about Gordon Ramsay before we were recording. So Gordon Ramsay was the host of MasterChef, one of the judges, right?
Yes.
So this is why, Noah is familiar with Gordon Ramsay. But yeah, go ahead, finish the story.
Yeah, like the way that, like, when he would come in, the humility, the power, just, you can feel it, and it makes you want to go harder, faster. Like, that's what a field general is. Rachel is the best that I've met. Her and Jose Andres are like they're just like right there on the same tier of. I've met a lot of billionaires. I've met a lot of very, very powerful people. Nobody is more powerful than Jose Andres and Rachel. But Rachel, like I said, is just such a special person. She has no lineage to Ukraine at all. She's Italian. And she's like, if you don't stand with Ukraine, to heck with you. And she gives me so much motivation. So I told her, I was like, listen, I'll go over there. I'll get boots on the ground. I'll start making things happen, make sure that everything is set up, make sure that we have all of the necessary, stuff that we have to make your project roll. So I went to Lviv, went into the hospital and surprised them, did not tell them that I was coming, showed up. Mariana, who is a powerhouse woman. She's like the director. There's 3 managers of Unbroken, but she is such a rock star powerhouse. I met her from a guy named Andriy, who is basically the right-hand man of Rachel in Ukraine. And they will not stop until they get there's these troops treated correctly. And that
Yeah.
gives me so much motivation. So when I showed up there and she sees me,
Mm.
she's like, holy crap. All right, we've got this guy that I know is going to do X, Y, and Z. Let's do it. This is one of the coolest things ever. And this is why I love Ukrainians, because sometimes I feel like I'm like nothing is moving at all. And I'm like, we're stagnant as hell. Then other times they pull miracles off that I'm like, I've never seen this before, because I'm explaining to them what I need. I was like, I need a mobile kitchen, maybe a food trailer, food truck. And they're like staring at me like deer in the headlights. They're like, okay, got it. I swear to God, the next day, like this is, I show up next day, 8:20 in the morning. They have the nicest food truck I have ever seen in my life. I've been to hundreds of food truck events. This is the nicest food truck I have ever seen in my life. It is brand new. It has 3,000 miles, diesel. It has, if I design this truck, for me, it would be exactly, I would not change anything. It is 210 centimeters tall. It's like 6'9", so I can walk in this.
It's basically almost as tall as you.
Yeah, you've got flat tops, you got your burners, you've got a whole cold line station, you got a deep freezer. It's just perfect. So we started immediately cooking borsch. We did Ukrainsky borsch. We did like a Hungarian borsch goulash thing, a little bit of spice. Loved it. Again, I made it spicy. I did some really, I don't even know where I found these Hungarian peppers and Calabrian chilies, Italian chili. But it was like I pureed that, mixed in with the goulash. They loved it. So we are getting that food truck, hopefully, where I'm going to be able to start cooking multiple days a week to be able to cook for these troops, because they love it, man. They love that there's an American there that has no connection, that just wants to serve them really good food. I mean, we made Smashburgers, real Smashburgers.
Oh, I love Smashburgers. I make them at home, man.
That's the thing. I won my apron on MasterChef was a Smashburger. People lost their mind. No one in MasterChef ever had enough balls to do a Smashburger.
Was it also an aphrodisiac?
This is an aphrodisiac. You're not gonna feel very good. Like, you're not gonna feel very good comparative to the borscht, because the borscht is like, makes you feel like a demigod. Like it's a demigod style aphrodisiac. Like you feel like an Adonis.
I need that borscht, man.
I swear to God, like I've lost, I used to be a super fat guy. Weight loss, borscht. Do borscht. Borscht will make you lose weight, become a dadgum, what is that, Jesse Ventura, sexual Tyrannosaurus? Isn't that what that's from? I dropped that one from Predator. It just makes you, like I said, feel good. The Smashburger is going to make you feel like you've got thrown out of a plane, really, actually. It's the antithesis of the borscht. But made them Smashburgers. They never had freaking like a real Smashburger. And like to see these guys, one leg, one arm, all amputees, like this unbroken. They've treated 300 people just last year with brand new prosthetics. They're making all prosthetics in-house.
I wanted to ask you, so the people that you help via like these food trucks or your humanitarian work with the cooking, are they internally displaced people? Are they vets?
Every place.
Can you talk about like a demographic of people that's
100%. So for the hospital, all basically military veterans, the people that amputees. So like I said, that's one thing. My parents, my mom, and my dad, Richard, physical therapists. So always being around people that have had problems, people that have had trauma, and to be around these people that are brave heroes of Ukraine that are not getting fed as well as I want them to be fed, and to be able to see them light up like a Christmas tree is moving to me. Like it makes me, I won't stop. Like I will not, like when I see these people that have had a shit hand dealt to them and be able to eat my food and just freaking buck up, dude. Like when you're in, the coldest I ever cooked in my life was -37 last year here in December last year. It was the coldest day of the year last year. In December. And I was in an old Polish fort. It's a big round circle. I don't know exactly where it is because I don't want to tell everybody where it is, but it's a big circle fortress. It's an old Polish fortress here in Kiev. And you have your curfew from 11. It was 11 to 5. It was 11 to 5 then. So I would have to be in my truck, and they would lock the whole thing. So I would be sitting in that truck, no bathroom, no anything, -30, -20, -10 all the time, and just be cooking. And like the thing that got me through that, and not even like got me through that, the thing that powered me and let me be able to sleep 2 hours and then wake up and then walk 53 flights of stairs to then grab stuff and like hang out for 5 minutes in my 40-degree apartment and then walk back down the stairs and then crank my truck up and drive to Irpin or Buchas. It took one person, man, just handing them one person a bowl of that borscht, and to see them go from my life is going to shit in a handbasket, and to be able to see them completely lift up, that someone gives a damn about them, made me unstoppable. I was not going to be denied. Like, I was going to feed as many people as I possibly could, because when I came over with my dad, and I'll show you some pictures after the podcast, when me and my father, which was so great that my dad came with me, on the border of Medica, and you have tens of thousands of people, like just incomprehensible. Like, I can't, the gravity.
Displaced people, right?
Completely. And you see these Polish people pulling these old military, so cool trailers that have big pots in them, and they're feeding them wood, and they're big soup pots. It's a soup trailer.
Yeah.
Dude, the amount of motivation of seeing those people, all the Polish, dude, the Polish are rock stars, by the way. What Poland did for Ukraine, I will tell my kids, I will tell my grandkids. I like, one of the greatest things of humanitarian I've ever seen. American, we suck at immigration. And Poland, they let in 6 million Ukrainians very smoothly into their country in like 5 months. Like, incredible. So seeing all these images, feeling all these people's pains, didn't matter what walk of life, poor person, rich person, whatever it was, I fed you. I didn't care what your religion was. I didn't care what your skin tone, whatever it was. It's like, and to see, as a chef, I always stand next to the trash can in a restaurant, see what the fuck I'm doing wrong. Okay, what's wrong? What's not kicking? What's not one of my chef instructor, one of my guys that really brought me through in the early 2000s, Danny Melman, taught me that. And he's like, one night we had freaking smoked ribeyes and people were not eating them. And he's like, what in the heck is going on here? Like, and you're just watching the trash cans. Like, so I would be watching my trash cans, and you would pick up this trash bag, as God is my witness, and pick it up, a clear trash bag. I did clear trash bags so I could see it. And you would have, out of a whole garbage bag of bowls that had borscht in it, you would have like the corner of that with a little bit of borscht. Nothing.
Oh, wow, man.
Where people every time we're eating every single bite. You know, some people would kill them 4 times, 5 times. Man. They would just keep cycling, and you'd be like, how much have they had to eat? I don't know, but by God, they're going to be eating really good today.
Have you ever met these people, like, on a personal level, like, ask them what their story is, like how they ended up there?
Let's talk about one of those. Let's talk about those. Let's talk about why I am so upset with Russians, about 10,000 different ones. So when Jose Andres, my hero, went into Bucha after it was liberated in March, I believe in manifesting. I've manifested my life. I believe in gratitude as the engine to be able to fuel manifesting. And I remember hearing that. I was like, dude, that is the coolest shit I've ever heard, that he's going in there and bulletproof vest, helmet, I was like, hell, this is my dude. This is my general. Like, this is my guy. And I was like, I'm going to be in that city with a food truck on Christmas. Like, I just said it. Like, I'm going to do this. This is end of March, April, I think is when they got delivered, or May. Was it May? It was one of those. And
I think it was May.
Yeah, I think it was May 1st. It was like the end of a month, beginning of the month. And I was like, I'm going to be in Bucha, no question, for Christmas. I don't know. Like, I have got to be there. So when I became the executive chef of the largest operating kitchen in Europe, which was in Przemyśl, where this whole town with the restaurant groups and everything made 10 million portions of food for Ukrainians. But I was there for 5.5 months. I was executive chef for 2 months in June and July, and they were not allowing Americans into Ukraine for WCK. And they came out with this super truck that I called Optimus Prime, that is the greatest food truck ever built on planet Earth. Like, this is a semi truck. This is not like my truck that's the nicest food truck. This is a semi truck that literally transforms into something that can produce 10,000 meals a day. Like, I called it Optimus Prime. They still call it Optimus Prime. That's 100% taking credit for that. So they wouldn't let me have it. So I was like, all right, well, I need food trucks like this. I'm going to make this happen. Hurricane Ian hits. I get home. Hurricane Ian hits Florida. I go down, WCK. We're down in Fort Myers.
Which year was this? 2020.
This is 2 years ago, 2022.
Yeah, because I was in Puerto Rico when Hurricane Ian was there. Yeah, so I remember this.
Ian leveled Fort Myers, which is where my dad originally was from. He went to the University of Georgia, go Dogs, when he was 18 on a swimming scholarship, side note. But going back to the place my dad was raised, where there's only like 10,000 people there at the time. Now there's God knows how many people. And being down there for a month, a guy called me up that I met in the Bahamas 5 years ago. After, like I said, everything's connected. You'll see the whole picture of like how everything is connected. And he's like, hey, listen, man, we're going to get this food program going up. If you're down for Ukraine, get some food trucks, all this. I was like, say less, say less. So I get over here in November after I went to Haiti, Jordan, Turkey, all these other places with this organization. Haiti, you talk about something like I feel so safe in Ukraine because I've been to Haiti. It's like you talk about some place that's not safe. Haiti, like Haiti. I tell my mom, Ukraine, don't worry about anything. Haiti, pray to Jesus, like pray to Jesus Christ, sweet baby Jesus, pray to him. But they got me 4 food trucks. So I get my team assembled, which was one of the greatest. Veronica is one of the most powerful women I've ever met. Powerful people. Veronica is my assistant. She was my assistant for Help NGO. She's a full-blown Ukrainian powerhouse. She started getting all of these different people, recruiting different people, and by God, on Christmas Day, on the 25th, I am sitting there with my food trucks with my team cooking borsch and bucha on Christmas time. Then why I'm telling you this is because you want to hear stories. I'm going to horrify you. I'm going to horrify you. This shit goes from real happy to like horrible shit real quick.
I'm ready.
So, well, buckle up, Buttercup. So Santa Claus is coming at me, and I'm talking with him, and his English is really good, and he's speaking so well. I'm like, all right, I want to talk with this guy. Like, I want to see, this guy's got some stuff. He's got a limp. Like, is he military? Like, we got some, like, I'm feeling this dude's sadness.
When you say Santa, you mean like
Santa Claus.
He looks like Santa, or he's dressed like Santa?
He's dressed like Santa Claus. And I go out and I start talking with him. And he tells me, like, on March 27th, the Russians kicked in their door and compound fractured his femur. All the men took a sledgehammer to all the guys' femurs and shattered these guys in this building's femurs. So this guy had a compound fractured femur, which if anyone knows what that pain is, that's a 10. That's 10. Childbirth 10, femur breaking 10, compound femur breaking. I don't know what that number is. So compound fracture femur, and like you say, he's just walking and starts telling me about all the horrifying things that had happened in Bucha. And when I rolled into Bucha, I have been to some real, like I said, Haiti. I've been to some very sad places. That's where I thrive because I spend my energy to lift people up and to put them on my shoulders and show them that we are going to get through this. Bucha, when I got there, man, the sadness that hit me, man, I could not stop fucking crying. I could not. I'm emotional right now. Like the wave of sadness that I felt from that place was like horrifying. Like, and I've got friends from Bucha. They're like, oh, it's not bad anymore. It's not bad. I was like, by God, when I was there in December and I was going there, and like, you just felt so much sadness. Like, I've never felt that in my life, where I could not stop crying. It just was the most overwhelming thing in all of the travels I've had, where I just was like off to the side of the truck, just sitting there, getting it all out. And then we're good to go, baby. We're freaking game time, freaking, look good, play good, cook good. We're rolling. Going to Irpin and talking to troops that got their arms blown off, legs blown off, guys that have been caught on fire, seeing the bullet holes in all the parks. That's a real wild one. You're sitting in the park and you see the bullet holes in all the trees. And then you see a picture of where your food truck is, and then you see where there was 5 bodies just sitting there, dead bodies, where the Russians just killed them. And it's like, what kind of savages are we dealing with here? Like, what kind of we'll give a real horrifying story. I'll give you the worst story I heard. This is the worst story I heard. This is the worst. This is the most sick thing ever. And I'm telling you this is so people have awareness of like what these Ukrainians are dealing with, monsters that they're having to deal with. House full of family, elderly woman, a 40, 50-year-old woman, 2 teenage girls, little boy, father, grandpa, and 14-year-old boy. take out the boys, kill them, come in the house, gang rape all of the women while the 4-year-old boy is hiding in the clothes hamper, hearing his grandma and his mom and his sisters getting gang raped by Russian troops. When I heard that story, my soul caught on fire. That treatment is so beyond unacceptable. Like, I think that there's a more special place in hell for those type of people that did that. And like, that happens all the time. That's what's so sick, is that that's one time. There's been thousands of those, thousands. And like, when I'm telling people about what they need to really get on the priorities, not worrying about freaking taco recipes and stuff. They need to be concerned about like what's going on in the world where these are the things that are happening. Like, you're able to make a TikTok taco video. It's like people are getting gang raped right now. Like, how is your brain working where people are like, no, make some content. It's like, I don't have a lot to say right now about this. It's like my sole focus is trying to help the Ukrainians as much as possible get this evil out of their land. And it's like, I've been shooting since I was 4. Any firearm, any weapon system, feel very good with, exceptionally good with. I can do much more than picking up a rifle here, than picking up a knife, picking up a ladle. I can do exponentially more on morale boosting than that. And it's like, what I'm seeing here in this country is Ukraine is going to win. No doubt. Ukraine is going to win. But what I've seen in this country, though, that is so captivating, that makes me, like I said, there's just thing after thing that just pulls me in to be a Ukrainian, like to freaking cheer for the Ukrainians. It's like, dude, when I hear Slava Ukraina, Herum Slava, dude, that shit gets me lit. That gets me where I could run through a wall. Like, you have the greatest like patriotic line ever, where people are walking down the road and they're like, Slava, like seeing a troop, Slava Ukraina, Herum Slava, like, yes, like we need this in America, like that is right, like we need it, because for me, this war where Russia's invading a sovereign country made me feel like our Iraq war, where America invaded it. And I started trying to see like the differences and like what was going on and how it was going on. It's like what America did in Iraq was beyond unacceptable. And it's like, you got to call a spade a spade. It's like, I have hundreds and hundreds of military veterans that are great friends of mine. It's like, man, I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all.
I mean, like, one of the biggest Russian propaganda, talking points is that, you know, the U.S. is much worse. They did like this to the Iraqis, you know, Afghanistan.
That's why I'm talking about this.
Because and I hate this.
It's exactly
because I don't accept that either.
Exactly. Yeah. We're gonna be best friends. We're gonna be best friends, like, because like I will call a spade a spade. And it's like 1 million Iraqis died. It's like, that is beyond unacceptable. It's like, and why was this? Greed. If you tell me where a world problem is, I'll tell you how it's tied to greed. Every time, 100% of the time, always greed. God preaches about greed. Greed is the root of all evil. Like, it is everything. We, of course, completely royally screwed. But the things that were happening in Iraq on open field battle, on closed combat battle, on this, there was not gang rapings going on. There was not things that are happening that you Russians are continually doing, where
it's part of their military doctrine. It's like terrorism.
A lot of people don't know that is to impregnate their adversaries, women. Like, people don't understand that's Russian doctrine. That's to break the backbones to try to get their women pregnant, so then when their men come home, they're literally, of course, like life
psychological warfare,
completely.
Terrorism,
completely.
Yeah.
That's disgusting. Like, that is beyond abominable. So like, I agree with you 100%. Same as like, I love our troops in America. I support our troops. I've cooked for all of our veterans multiple times. Like, I love our veterans. It's like, but calling a spade on like America government totally fumbled on Iraq. Every single thing my dad telling me. I did not join the military. I literally went to aviation camp. Like, I wanted to be in the military so badly. And when we invaded Iraq, I'm 17 years old. I'm like, God, like, I can't be part of this. Like, I cannot be part of a military complex. And it's like, do I fault any of my buddies in the military? No. Love them dearly. It's like, you're doing your job. You're listening to your commanders. No fault. Do I fault the U.S. government? 1,000%. 1,000. Yeah. Do I, think that Hal Burton getting a $2 billion contract as soon as the war starts, which is, who was the CEO of the company before he became vice president? Oh, Dick Cheney.
Yep.
A weapons contractor getting $2 billion right when you start something. The day after, first weapons contract was to Hal Burton. It's like, ABC, like ABC. It's very simple.
Funneling all the money amongst each other. Yeah.
It cost us $4 trillion. $4 trillion. And it's like, you start getting on Americans being upset at the $61 billion. It's like, bro, let's talk about our $877 billion war budget that we have. And if we can give these badass powerhouse Ukrainians weapons, this is why people, like Southern people, it's like, don't worry about government, don't worry about food, just give us guns. We'll handle everything else. Yeah. Just give us guns.
Wait, I'm sorry. Speaking on this kind of $61 million billion dollars, right? $61 billion, and how there's like this talking point saying like, why are we spending on Ukraine when we get to spend it's like on ourselves? This is kind of like Russian propaganda as well. And I want to kind of touch on Russian propaganda in the U.S. And you're from the South, and we were talking like before the podcast, and we were talking about how your area, you can see Trump flags, you can see very right-wing leaning people. Yeah, tell me about this. How do you feel about Russian propaganda in the U.S.?
That's a great question, bro, man. Because it blows my mind. Like, my grandpa was a diehard Republican. I know he would never voted for Donald Trump, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But like, one thing that I can bet my ass on is that if he saw any Democrat, Republican, independent American believing any Russian propaganda, he would lose his mind. Like, I was raised to hate Nazis and the Communist Party. Those two parties. Everyone else is great. You want to be a Green Whig, a Tea Party, whatever you want. You want to be the Liberation Party, the non-liberation, whatever. But if you are part of the Communist Party or Nazis, we have a very, very big freaking problem. So the fact that Russia is able to get the propaganda where these people are like, we don't need to do this. Margerie Taylor Greene, by the way, Margerie Taylor Greene, shout out. I think you're the biggest piece of shit on the planet. I've wanted to say that on a podcast for a long time. I can't wait to one day debate with you. I'm going to be running for Congress, by the way, 9th District, Andrew Clyde. And Margerie Taylor Greene is a 14th District, but I'm going to make her life a living hell with just...
How does she keep getting reelected, by the way?
96% reelected in Rome. I don't know.
But how? But have you been to this village or this town?
A village. Rome, dude, Rome Braves. Shout out to Rome Braves. Great baseball team. But I don't know. That's what I was like. I don't get, like, my grandpa, like I said, diehard Republican. But how are we in this world right now as an American where you believe anything? Like, you're weak. Like, you have a country that hates you. Like, Russia hates you. And you're like, I believe the guy that hates me. Like, the one that got me was the Tucker Carlson interview. I lost my mind. Reading the comments on Instagram was like, Am I in like a George Orwell book? Like
Twilight Zone?
Is this a dystopian universe? Like, is this 1984? Like, what is happening right now? Where I'm like reading it, I'm like, man, this guy is a genius. Which person are we talking about? Neither of these people I'm staring at. It's like this guy. I'd vote for Putin over Joe Biden. I'm like, what am I like? Do I need to snap my phone? Like, do I need to what do I need to do? I don't know what to do with my hands right now. Like, did you not see that interview?
Yeah, I seen the interview. Bro. Did you see, like, after that he went to a Russian grocery store?
Yes.
And he was saying how much better it is in Russia than the US?
I was like, he's like, oh, look at this little card thing, so you don't have to do it. And he's going up like an escalator. It's like,
bread.
Is this guy doing like a 1992 the Soviet Union fell Gorbachev style? What is this? Like, everything about that whole interview, and then Putin gets on there and it's like, that was a very weak interview. Like, I was expecting him to have harder questions, and I'm like, And then you read the comments like, well, Tucker gave him the great questions. Like, do you think every question was vetted by like 9 people before he opened his mouth? Like every syllable that Tucker Carlson said was completely written out. Every single thing. There was no improv with Vladimir Putin.
He looked like a guy with a gun to his back. Like
correct. Because every single thing, he's like, remember my lines, remember my lines, remember my lines.
Too, like,
And why did he do it? Because he wanted to get clicks. It was the most watched interview.
Well, he's a Russian asset as well, man.
He is.
Yeah,
he is though.
Big time.
It's like, how the hell do you not? It's like, I'm not a Democrat or Republican. I'm an American. Like, I vote for Republicans. I vote for Democrats. I've got great Republican friends, great Democrat friends. I've got atheist friends, Christian friends, Jew friends, Muslim friends. Like, yet somehow we're at a spot where I'm like, what are these people my like, what, like, if you believe this, like, I got, no matter what you are, it's like, I don't care what is, but like, this Russian propaganda might be a big deal breaker. Like, I don't care, like, I don't believe in God, not a deal breaker. Like, I'm a Christian nationalist. Like, it's kind of going to be a deal breaker. Like, because Christian nationalists are believing all the Russians. It's like, how the hell do we what is it? Is it Donald Trump maybe? Do you think maybe the linchpin of the Christian nationalists tying into the Russian thing? Do you think maybe those go hand in hand? That it's Donald Trump is the main driver.
Well, it's like, I had another girl on the podcast. She was kind of explaining it in this way, that Donald Trump is not the problem. He's just the symptom. You know, there was kind of like, people in the US, they had like these feelings. But then Donald Trump just came out and he made it acceptable to just show this anger and show this hate. And then the Russians came in and they kind of, put their propaganda in there. And they kind of like not influence people because they already had like these kind of thoughts. Now they're more vocal about it. Now they feel more comfortable, being horrible people.
Not to degrade that thought, the match in the gas tank thought is like, well, you have a cup of gas and it's totally fine. Donald Trump was just the match that ignited the freaking gas. No. I don't believe America is that shitty. 77 million
it's
people
hard for me
voted.
to believe too, yeah.
77 million people voted for this person, but it's like, I have seen what propaganda does for people. And some of the smartest people I know, some of the most men of honor that I would fight on a battlefield with, vote for Donald Trump and think Donald Trump's great. And like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Like, I don't know, like, I've looked up to this one person. I'm not going to say his name. I've looked at this guy for 25 years. This is one of the nicest human beings that's done so much good. Great family, great human being. Love the guy. Would take a bullet for this man. Like, I have that much respect for him that I would take one, at least in the arm or something. But yeah, he votes for Donald Trump. And I'm like, sir, how is this possible? He's like, well, he's a lot better than the other one. I was like, dude, you're a smart guy. Like, you're really smart. Like, can you give me any analytics on how you came up with this ridiculous thought? Like, I've never had a disagreement with you. I've always been like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm wrong on that.
I don't know who this guy is, but maybe he has like personal interest when it comes to financial stuff, because Donald Trump, he's all about.
Do you think that? So I thought that as well. No, he's retired. Nothing to, like, there's nothing. Like, this guy has more money than he knows what to do with. He gives his money away. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not like I'm hoarding money. This guy gives all of his money away. So it's like, there's nothing that makes him, like, there's nothing. And it's like, I'm not used to, with my ADHD analytics, like, not being able to figure it out. Like, I can't figure that out, and it just locks me up.
But I want to say also, like, these people that are evangelical or, Christo fascist.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, I feel like these people like Trump as well, but he embodies like the opposites. And it's so wild.
100%.
Like Joe Biden, he's a church-going man.
Always has been.
Yeah, and then Trump, he like holds the Bible upside down. He can't even recite any kind of verse from the Bible.
He doesn't know a book. He doesn't know a book. Exactly. He's been asked multiple times.
They asked him like, do you like the old version or the new version of the Bible?
I like
them both.
Yeah, I like them both. It's like, do you even know like how many books are in the Old Testament, New Testament? Like, do you know anything about like what's going on with this? Like, nothing. And you're 100% accurate on that, because like Joe Biden, people will be like, oh, he's a scumbag. He's a this, he's a that, he's this. Like, well, one, Joe Biden is too old to be in president right now. Let's just make that crystal clear for everybody.
Too old.
They are, but like Joe Biden is way too old. I think Kamala Harris is I think that she's just way out of touch with the reality of like what America needs right now. Might be a nice person. I have never met her, so I'm not going to judge her at all. Matthew 7:2, judge not be judged in the same fashion, the same manner. So we can go some Bible versing, but I don't judge people. But like, I don't think that I think she'd be a horrendous president. I think Pete Buttigieg would be an incredible president. I think that guy's highly intelligent, speaks multiple languages. I think that guy'd be
charismatic too. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. He knows what's going on. It's like I would vote for a lot of Republicans. That there's only about 3 that I think are of honor. All of the other ones are, I think, like, there's so many though on Democrat, Republicans, all this, but the thing that always seems to me that blows my mind is like, I lean a lot more towards the Democrat of logic, that like, this doesn't make a lot of logical sense. Like, it's like, I'll vote on Republican issue, but like, a lot of the times, like with this Russian thing, it's like, I don't have one Democrat friend that's like, Russia's doing some good shit. Like, I like what you did there in Kharkov, the other right there. I don't even know how to pronounce that word, but what is that? Odessa, whatever. You did some good work there, like that. But then you got Republicans like Putin, Tucker Carlson again. Yeah. Genius, military genius, the prowess of this man's composure. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what is going on here? This is
the thing. It's like, I don't know, they lack these critical thinking skills, and it's because the U.S. doesn't fund education, you know,
you literally took it out of my mouth, like, because of our education system.
Exactly. And this is not like a bug, it's a feature. They oppress the people, and they want to do the thinking for them. They just want the votes.
I like you.
Yeah,
yes.
and this is kind of, you know, how it's been in the U.S. and I just feel so.
Dude, you go to Japan and you see their education system and how they feed their children. It's like nutrition is everything. It's like, here's one for you. This is gonna blow your mind because we go back to Marjorie Taylor Greene being the biggest piece of shit on the planet. The only thing that I've ever agreed with, and this is gonna be a hot take. The only thing on record that I have ever agreed with Marjorie Taylor Greene on, the only thing, I swear to God, one thing. She got ridiculed for this. And I like Jamie Raskin. I think Jamie Raskin is highly intelligent.
He's from Georgia as well, right?
No, he's New York or New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
He's an absolute powerhouse. He ridiculed her for this idea. The idea is to educate kids with firearms. And it's like, hear me out on this. What are our kids dying of right now? Is it trigonometry, geometry, or is it early onset diabetes and guns, violence? Those are the things that are killing our kids. It's not the Pythagorean theorem, right? That's not. Yeah. So it's like, what is education? Power and safety. And anything that you do, knowledge is power and safety. Education is power and safety. So what are we dying from? We're dying from people don't know how to even make a peanut butter jelly sandwich. People don't understand that sugar is the worst drug on the planet. People don't understand that you literally can't have a comprised meal of McDonald's and everything is going to be totally fine. And guns. We're getting blown away with guns. It's like, well, why are we getting killed by all this stuff? Well, is anyone talking about it? No, no one is. It's like, I was raised to shoot every gun. At 4 years old, my dad had me out there, muzzle control, checking breech, every single thing. Do not point this gun unless you plan on killing it. Like, the amount of respect and care that I had for firearms was drilled into me, where it was never like, if I have to pull my gun down, which I carry an HK USP 45, if I had to pull my gun down, like, that's it. That's the last time I need to know where, you know, eyesight, bullet track is, like, everything that I need to do. And it gave me protection. It gave me safety blanket on being able to be around like accidental shootings, the thousands of accidental shootings of like, I'm the guy in the room that knows that this gun is loaded, because guess what? Every gun is loaded until I check to see if this gun is loaded. And we got people passing guns around, and it's a loaded firearm, and then bam, they blow them. It's like, if you educate kids on how these guns operate, how to be safe around these, the impact of what a mass shooting does to a community, the impact that it does to a mom and a dad, have people that have had mass shooting kids killed, bringing them in, seeing that pain. You're telling me that's a bad idea? You're telling me that you keep teaching them bullshit math that they've never going to use, bullshit science that they're never going to use? history, always teach history. For the love of God, the history in America is going to shit. They're not teaching history anymore. It's like, please God, teach history so we don't have stupid things happen like we're happening right now where history repeats itself. But it's like Germans are like, all right, so you're like, which route do you want to go? Do you want to go tech way? You want to go this way? You want to go this way? At a age where your brain is a sponge, you're like 10 or 12 years old. It's like, oh, you want to learn this language, do this, do that. All right, perfect. You got a segue. America, dude, it is about as smooth as a toolbox going down an escalator. All right, it is rough. It is rough. It's like you go into middle school, like I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. You go into high school, still no clue. I got no direction. I got no counselor. I still have no idea. I'm on this island with all these other people that has no idea how to get off this island. And guess what? You're like, well, everyone told me I'm supposed to go to college because all of our trade jobs are literally going where an electrician starting now makes $120,000 because there's no trade jobs because you need to go get a college degree. Get a college degree or you're worthless. We screwed the generation. So many generations where I still don't know what I technically want to do at like end goal. Like I know what I want to do. I want to help people. Like I love helping people. I love being a humanitarian. I'm going to win the congressional seat against Andrew Clyde.
No, you would make a good politician. You're on the good
Dude,
side of like all the social
Andrew Clyde,
issues.
you need to start shaking in your boots on that debate stage. Sweet, for the love of God, prepare for that. Oh boy, that is going to be a viral video after viral video because I'm going to eviscerate this guy. Like I'm going to waylay the shit out of this guy. Like it's going to be like Last of the Mohicans, last scene, like Magua getting destroyed by Chingach's cook, like breakdown of what that's going to be. The thing is, man, like someone's got to say some shit. Like someone's got to do something. And it's like, I don't know what I got to do, but I know that at 37 years old, I'm still figuring out what I should have maybe done with not having regrets just for like, maybe I could have done this. Maybe I could have done, like I said, it was all military. Like I was always military until the Iraq war. And then I was like, all right, now that was the plan since I was a child, like mom and dad, like you're going to be a general, like you're going to do this. And like, I'm all for it. And then that happened. It's like, so cooking and trying to figure that out. And I think a lot of why you get this TikToker influencers, all these people have no concept of what the hell they're doing. You got a demographic of 12 years old to freaking 55 years old that are making the same content, trying to find themselves, trying to find what food they like, educating themselves on like what makes me happy. And a lot of American schools, 99.99%, I'm not gonna say 100%. I don't think anyone's ever like teachers just like, you need to do what makes you happy. Like, you know what you need to do? If you want to be a carpenter, you should be a carpenter. Like as a kid, I wanted to be a knife maker. I went to John C. Campbell Folk School, like make knives. It's like now that's a legitimate business. You could be a knife maker and make an absurd amount of money making custom knives. My buddy Max and Jeff, my two boys in Georgia, make some world-class knives. Jeff McCullough and Max Albert, he's really top tier knives. They make some of the finest knives, but they do it. They love it. Like, it's not about money. It's not about anything. It's like passion. It's like these guys started later in their life doing this. And like I tie where American school system is like, we're going to get worse and worse. Because like I said, there's no direction. If you don't have any leadership, you just have a bunch of mindless minions running around. Not like, why is Americans not teaching a foreign language at a young age? Like I was taught Spanish when I was very young by my mom, because she's from Texas, and I used to speak pretty good Spanish. Then I stopped using it, which is a stupid regret. But like when you're a kid is young, your brain is a sponge. It is so much easier for like complete paramount for them to start learning another language at a young age. Americans don't do it.
No, I used to teach English at this private school like here in Kyiv for 2 years. And I was so surprised at how well the kids spoke English at such a young age, and they were learning like another language.
Handwriting. Handwriting in Ukraine is people in America.
Oh, it's beautiful, by the way.
Incredible handwriting in Ukraine.
Yeah, but so at this school, and they were learning like a fourth language because they know typically Ukrainian and Russian by birth parents, and then English, and they're learning another language. I'm like, wow, these kids are like so talented, and we should be doing this in the U.S. But when it comes to, I want to bring it back to like Ukraine a bit. I feel like we're
all very, I told you,
I've heard so many obscenities towards Margerie Taylor Greene already.
Boy, she's a terrible, horrible. She's probably part of the problem.
Yeah. But I want to ask you. So you were talking about your friends as well, and since you kind of experience what is going on in Ukraine, and you have a lot of animosity towards Russia as the government. Do you have any Russian friends, or would you be able to make connections with Russian people, whether they're abroad, whether they don't support the war? What do you think? Would you ever take any opportunities in Russia?
There's 7 billion people on this planet.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to be good with not being friends with 134 million. How's that?
That's a good way to put it, man.
Okay. Going back to your propaganda to tie to that.
Yeah.
The propaganda that we were fed in Iraq was easy to blow through very quickly. Like, it was like, this is like there, and it wasn't like we're like, after like we won Operation Freedom, we're good to go, and like
mission
all
accomplished.
this, yeah, mission accomplished on an aircraft carrier. Like, who in the PR department thought that was a great move? Like, good one, Slick. Dumb, but like, if a lot of people hated America, what was going on is like a coalition of forces. Like, there was so many countries. It's like, a lot of people don't understand this. I don't know if you know this. When's the last time Article 5 got enacted?
It was during no, it was after 9/11. Yeah, I remember
9/11. Yeah. It's like, so all of our allies came to our aid for a crapshoot mission. Like, we dishonored NATO by doing that crap, where we cost people lives in our NATO our NATO allies.
Yeah,
where it's like, that propaganda. There was no Americans. I'd be like, unless they went over there, like, to hell with those Iraqi people. I hope their daughters get, like, there's none of that. There was none. You never heard it in America. I never heard. There was none of this. None of this. Like, we need.
But there was like a lot of like prejudice towards like Muslim people, or even people that had like a turban on or something. Yeah.
That fired up. That went through the ceiling. It wasn't just Iraq. It's like, we're just going to blanket statement. If you wear a hijab or any kind of
or even
covering,
like the Sikh Indians.
Sikh Indians, they had the tag. They had the Sikh Indian temple where they had the massacres. Like, it's a Muslim temple. It's like, nope, that's two different things. Like, two way different things.
You're directing your anger in the wrong way,
the wrong
man.
things. And it's like that, to your point, it's like that propaganda got blown the hell out.
Yeah.
That Muslim, the Islamist, radical extremists, like, it's like, well, I like that propaganda towards the radical extremes. Also, I like that towards the Christian nationalists, because that's the same thing. It's like Muslims version, Christian nationalists, same thing. Are the Christian nationalists murdering and doing stuff? No, but like, the ideology is exactly the same as extremists. It's extremists on anything is no good. And the Russian people, these are their brothers and sisters and shit. Like, these are family tied people. Like, it is like George. I tell people all the time, like, what in the hell would happen if Spain was like, the hell with Portugal, and just start shooting missiles at Lisbon? Like, what would happen if Germany's like, the hell with Paris, shooting? Like, well, we know what happened. World War II happened. Like, that's what. So somehow Russia can shoot missiles over and hit Kiev. It's not that big of a deal.
I don't trust it nowadays. I feel like the propaganda would be, well, this is Portugal was Spanish land. They're bigger. Well, we don't want to start World War III. Let them just have it. Like,
it could be fun though. And I haven't thought about it. It's like, but that's kind of sad. But it's like,
I don't have any faith like in people not resisting propaganda or using critical thinking skills.
There would be some people, I agree, that would be like, yeah, Portugal, they suck. It's like, why do we hate Portugal again? They have seafood. It's like, hell, I hate seafood. The hell with shrimp. It's like, oh my God, like, you're from New Orleans, like, hell with shrimp. It's like, okay, buddy, like, good for that. But like, I believe the Russian people, I've always said this, I'm going to get probably killed for that, but like, Russian people are always needed a daddy, okay? Russian people always need daddy, okay? Americans don't need daddy. That's why we're always superior to the Russians, is because we don't need daddy. We go to work without having to ask daddy to go to work. Russians always have to have daddy. No matter what happens, we have to have a dude that we can look up that we
like
can
a hive mind,
we can freaking, like Toy Story, the claw, like, we have to have that, where that thing can control us and maneuver us, and like, we're just sitting here like the thing, like, okay, take me to my death, like, here we go. That's how I feel about the Russian people. It's like, you have enough connections now, not in 2001. This is something that not a lot of people say. I can blow through propaganda today like this. I can source it, I can check it, I can find it. And it's like, if you want to find it, if it's bullshit or not, you can find it really easy. 2001 was not the case. We're sitting here on a Gateway 98 going to town trying to find things. You're not going to find the propaganda sourcing codes, anything like that, to see where this bullshit is coming from. These Russians could, like, you're acting like Helen Keller in a round room trying to find a corner, okay? Like, you're just, You're not functioning correctly because it's your brothers and sisters and you're destroying them for nothing, for nothing. Like, it's not for, like, you're gonna like, you're losing shit. There's not gain. Like, in Iraq, we got a lot of oil, we got a lot of connections, we got a lot of shit. It's like, yeehaw, like, at least we got some, but not because it's been $4 trillion and all of the 4,000 American lives, all the troops, all the families, all that's like, that was a net loss. This, I don't even know what the hell it is. It's like the Ukrainians, like, this is never gonna, like, there's never gonna be not like saboteuring things going on now. Like, I think that, yeah, dude, I know that as God is my witness, that if I'm a Ukrainian and this is happening, bro, like, my whole life is changed into literally ruining the Russian government. Like, every single breath I take is to crush the Russian government. Every breath. If someone invaded America, dude, the next day I'm signing up. Next day, not a question, not a thought. Oh yeah, dude, it's my home. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't give a damn about dying. I'm looking for an honorable death. Like, whatever. Like, but like, my homeland is not to be with, like, ever. And like, the Ukrainians, like, are that type of people. Like, we are not going to be slave to your daddy issues problem. You got daddy issues over here, Russia. We don't have daddy issues. Go fly a kite. Like, go play in a rainstorm or in the road, if you even have roads, because you have some little money. You don't even have paved roads there. It's unacceptable. Like, there's no excuses. I have one really good Russian friend. I have not talked to him since the start of this war because I don't know what I will say to him. I have no concept of what I will say. No, he's in America. He's in America. Okay. One of the nicest guys ever, because like, it's like, I still look at this guy as an incredible man of honor. And it's like, the only Russian friend that I have, one of the toughest men I've ever met. You talk about break you down like a shotgun. When I spar with this guy, he weighs about 165, 175 pounds. Yeah. He will climb you like a tree and break you down. Like, he will snap your arm. He is a freak of an athlete, great human, like, doesn't have a fault, like, keeps himself in mental, spiritual. It's like, I can't talk to old G, like, I'll call him Mr. G. Yeah, because it's like, I love and respect this guy. And it's like, if this guy's like, oh, I kind of like what's going on, it's like, well, I just, like, I'm gonna talk to him whenever this war is over, and I'm gonna be like, so what are your thoughts, Mr. G? Like, what are your thoughts? And I think he's gonna be like, this is absolute horse shit. I think that's what he'd say now, which, now talking about, I was like, I should just give him a call and freaking be like, yo, G, what do you think about this war real quick, so if we can continue this conversation? Like, is it shit or not shit? Just tell me real quick. Because the Russians, there's no excuses right now. Like, if you are supporting 77% of Russians supported, and then like 77 or 81, something absurd, cooked numbers, though. You don't even know the real numbers in Russia.
It's kind of debatable. You don't know the real numbers. And plus, the people that don't respond, you know, there's a lot of them. So the only people that are brave enough to respond, they typically say yes. Because they go with the government line. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. They're cooked. The numbers are cooked. So it's like, you don't really know, but it's like, if you support this war, go to hell. That's pretty straight. If you are from China, if you are from Mongolia, if you're from Canada, United States, any country, if you believe that this war is a good thing for Russia, eat a bag of shit. Kick rocks.
Okay, I think we'll end it there then.
That's a great way.
So yeah, kick rocks. So anyways, thank you so much, Noah, for joining me on this podcast. Yeah, your references, your metaphors are out of control, man. I loved it.
It's been an honor, brother. This has been a great time, bro.
Yeah. So I'm gonna. So right now, take a second, plug your channels. How can people like contact you? How can they find you? How can they follow you?
We're gonna put a link on this, and I'm gonna hand it over to whoever I need to hand it over. If you want to donate to Unbroken Ukraine, they are doing world-class work. Your money is going to be spent so well. They're building a new ward to put another 100 beds in, 2 more floors in at the hospital. So if you could do me a kindness, do yourself a kindness, and donate to Unbroken Ukraine, you're going to be helping out a lot of really, really incredible people, a lot of brave heroes. There's really no other plugs. That's like my priority. Like, I like Mountain Man Sims on Instagram, mountain_man_Sims. Rachel Ray, can't wait to see you. Love you. Everybody, Jose, love you. I don't have any really.
Oh yeah, I have one more for you. Vote Sims 20.
Yeah, vote Sims 2026 against Andrew Clyde. He doesn't even know who I am, but he'll know in November. I'm going to start campaigning in November. So
You got my vote, man.
dude, it's gonna be a rock.
Just send me with an address.
It's gonna be unbelievable because it's gonna shake up things, bro. It's gonna shake up things.
I feel like you sound like a politician, and you're like on the good side of like all of these social issues. So
I can
respect,
Adam
bro.
Kinzinger. Like I would vote for Adam. Like I think he's a diehard Republican, but he's a man of honor. You know, he shook it up.
So yeah, I just want to thank you all for watching Gaze Media on another great episode. And if you like the video, be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and be sure to donate to Noah's charity.
Yep,
it's for a good cause. He's a good guy.
Unbroken Ukraine, guys. Thank y'all so much. It's been an absolute honor.
This is what I like to do at the end of the podcast. Shake hands.
I was literally going to get up and shake hands for sure. I appreciate you.
It's great having you, man.